Well, how's everybody doing today? Oh, we cut a bunch of hay down, not a bunch of hay, but a decent amount of hay down here yesterday. Dad's out raking that right now. I'm gonna go through and grease everything on the chopper and check fluids and all that good jazz. Did all the chopper boxes yesterday, got them greased up and oiled up. I'm gonna go through and get the bagger done here. And they took the rain out of the forecast, but it got kind of cloudy and hazy now, but I don't think it's going to do anything. So we'll see what happens here. We'll get this ready to go and that ready to go and see what kind of trouble we get into today. Okay, bagger should be ready to go. Besides oil the chains, I'll do that after I get everything hooked up. Move on to the chopper here. And what I do for the chopper, so we got to pull this gearbox into neutral. There's a forward reverse for that head, so I think that's in reverse. No, there's neutral. And then grab a big crescent or adjustable wrench if you want to be technical, and I normally go on this shaft here, then I'll be able to turn to get all the grease zerks on these knuckles. And there's some spots on here, but yeah, you got to have that this gearbox here in neutral, or else you're trying to turn everything. And not that it can't be done, but why work harder than you have to, right? So there's just a couple. I gotta take this cover off here and on the head here. Nothing too exciting, so we'll get this done up here and we'll go from there. Okay, next day here. Chopped a couple of loads yesterday to get a field cleared off, so I had a spot to go with some manure out of the pit. So it was too wet to chop really, but I needed a place to go with some of that, so a couple loads got me some room to haul it all the pit on. So I was hoping to get this set up and unloaded last night, but it got too late, and trying to do all this in the dark is not fun. So then it ended up raining this morning, but that didn't end up adding up to more than the 10th, and the sun finally came out now here this afternoon. It was pretty well cloudy all day, so it's drying stuff out now. So I guess I'm going to put the skid loader up against here, and got the 2290 on there today, and we'll drop that hopper down and get the chains oiled and get the first couple loads in here started and go from there. Overnight. It's gonna make some nice feed though. So the wind was kind of blowing out of the west here, right towards the back, kept blowing my knot kind of in, so I want to make sure, I like to make sure the knot for the end of the bag gets underneath. Right, I've seen guys where they tie them and they stick straight out the back, but it scares me. Alright, we're on the second load here. This stuff is so wet, I only got my brakes about half the pressure I normally do, or else it just won't feed in. It'll try to just sit in there and make mush out of it. So I gotta kind of leave the brakes off a little bit, and see, it still ain't feeding in real great. It's kind of throwing it around. Kind of what you run into when stuff gets too wet. But it's only 2 loads. I checked the hay we had raked up for yesterday, and with that little bit of rain this morning, that got really wet underneath. So, going to have to take that inverter down and flip that over. Do that yet this afternoon before milking. It's getting pretty dry on top, so it'll be about perfect, and it won't have just a ton of drying time. Should still be plenty wet to chop for tomorrow. Might have to take those brakes off a little more yet. Anyways, I'm gonna keep paying attention to what I'm doing before I screw something up, and check back in a while. I know you guys are probably getting sick of seeing this thing. This will be interesting. Those windrows out there, they're raked up. A lot of them he's got 3 windrows raked into one, and some of them he's got 4. So I don't know if that'll pick that up or not. It might be a mess. I guess if a guy was trying to make dry hay, you go out there with the tedder and rip that all apart. But don't want her to get dry. I just need her to dry down underneath, and as you could have seen from what we chopped yesterday, it was plenty wet yesterday, and then we had almost a 1/10 of rain on it there this morning. So, and supposedly there's more rain for Friday. Today's Tuesday? I don't know what day it is. Something like that. Anyways, I'm going to get this thing gassed up here, and we'll see what kind of mess we can get into. I need a shorter hitch pin. Not so bad when the windrows aren't so big, but I had an old bearing I put under there for a spacer, but it's still hanging down too far. But try to keep my drop bar to the side a little bit. We'll know for another time, I guess. Anyways, keep after here and hopefully get this done before chore time. Alright, it's next day here. Sun's out and the wind's blowing. I really didn't want the wind blowing, but Dad's out raking right now. That stuff I merged yesterday, and used the inverter on yesterday, should be in pretty good shape to chop, but the way the wind's blowing, everything might be ready to chop today, so we'll see what we get into. I just got done putting haylage in the mixer. We're gonna come up and get some corn silage. Never picked up my plastic yesterday. Slacker. So we're gonna try to hopefully get through chores here real quick and get chopping. Alright, well, chores are done. Dad just took off with the chopper. Got a pretty nice breeze at the moment. So it might be another one of those days where everything dries out too fast. It's hard to say. We got everything raked together pretty tight. A lot of 3 windrows into one, some 4s into one, so hopefully it'll hold the moisture. So anyways, see what kind of fun we get today. better. It's still plenty wet, but that's some nice smelling stuff. Well, I'm kind of keeping up. Good thing we're chopping fairly close. As long as nothing breaks. It'd be nice if these field driveways were a little smoother. Oh, we're getting there anyways. Well, everything's working good so far. We had to stop and get some water in the water tank for the chopper. It's this next field we're into is getting a little gummy, so a little water made her blow pretty good again. So guess we'll keep after. And did run into a little bit of trouble on this last wagon I'm unloading. There's a variable speed belt on there, and somehow I must have got a little carried away greasing it, and gob of grease must have got down on the belt and the apron wouldn't move, and I'd go in there with some brake clean and a rag and clean that all up. But again, that's just minor, so we'll take it. We gotta have problems, we'll take the minor ones. So I'll check back after a while. Well, things are moving along, knock on wood. Hooked up to this last wagon and on an old spreader paddle. Something you don't like to find in a hayfield, especially when you don't have metal alert on your chopper. That would have went in there, that'd ruin your day in a hurry. By the looks of things, that's it's not even a paddle on any of my spreaders. That must have been something from one of Dad's. Thing's probably been out in the field for 20 years. Oh well. Well, should have kept my mouth shut about things going smooth. This belongs over there. So, luckily my connector links are right here, so I guess I'll take this chain off, see if I can pound her back and maybe try to weld something on there. I'm not real sure yet. We'll figure it out. Okay, next day here. A lot of beating and heating with the torch, and it's just not much room to work with in here. So it's decent. I cut myself a piece of steel, laid across here. There's a lip on each side where the floor ripped away. I got this sitting under that lip, so hopefully everything's going to be low enough. I got a little low spot in here, but I can't get at it to get it out. I don't think it's really going to hurt anything. So what I'm going to do is cut a couple pieces to fill in that hole here and get this rest of this floor where it's kind of rusted away. Okay, it's cracked up there. Get that filled back in and whatnot. Then we'll put this chain back together and make sure nothing's going to catch, and then we'll see about getting the rest of this load off. I got one more sitting on, and we've got a couple more loads worth out in the field that's ready to chop, and see whatever kind of trouble we get into. So, get this taken care of and go from there. For a new blade. Okay, that actually married up in there way better than I expected. It's pretty well flush right there, and comes off of this low spot, and that's pretty well flush where the floor starts coming up again, so the chain should be in good shape to stay riding. And the same over here. Let's get that tacked in and get after it. Alright, there it is. I was going to try to show a little bit of welding, but pretty tight quarters in here. Anyways, let's get this chain back together and see if it works. Well, the old Pat's job is holding up so far. I think I got about one more load and we'll be done for what we got ready for today anyways. Alrighty, well, finishing up in the barn here. Next morning again. Ran into some trouble with the rake yesterday. Had a bolt on one of the bars lose a nut and the bar fell off and all that fun jazz. Got that fixed up here before milking this morning. Supposedly there's rain for tonight, so we got quite a bit of chopping to do today, and it'd be nice if I could get 6-8 loads out of the pit yet before the rain. Ideally I'd get it empty, but I don't got enough hay off or time to do that, so I'm gonna take what we can get, and I'm not gonna complain about some rain, that's for sure. So I guess I'm gonna call this one good enough for now. It's gone on long enough as it is, so I'm gonna keep rolling here and see if we can get done today. And I don't know, might video something else, hard to say. More than likely something will break, might be something interesting, so we'll see what happens. So thanks for watching, we'll catch everybody later.